Open the door. Level 4. Everybody wants a level 4. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody wants a level 4. Open the door, get on the floor. Everybody wants a level 4. Open the door, get on the floor.
What a thank. To my left, all the Labor members that came down and stood beside us today in the rain. Remember that come election day. They were here. They supported us. Support them. I love you. Every single one of you. All you, my brothers, my sisters, because we're all from the same community. Moving as one for a level 4 hospital, and we need a level 4. Without a level 4, no training. No training for future doctors, for future nurses. If they do not give us a level 4, we get FA. It's out there. That's what we get. Level 4, nothing more, nothing less. It has to be a level 4. Isn't that a beautiful 164-bed hospital? We need at least 300,000. They're promising me 60,000. While you're walking out the door, this shit.
Shall we just wake them up a little and let them know we're here and waiting for them to honour the promises they made us back in 2019? Exactly. So let's hope they begin to listen, because all the signs are that they still haven't got the message.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. It's wonderful to see you. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners, pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Bunga and Leanne, it's lovely to see you both. Look, first of all, there's an old saying in politics, if the weather's bad and the crowd's big, then the locals must be angry. And the weather's pretty bad and the crowd's huge. So it's clear the community down here needs and deserves a level 4 hospital on the opening day in the year of Adela. It's essential for this community, essential. I want to make something really clear. Dr. Michael Holland's commitment to
and he didn't even put that in.
Thanks for coming, boys, right on time. Michael Holland's commitment to this community is unrivaled. 80, 90 hours a week, going out into the community, midnight calls, going out on Christmas Day, on Boxing Day. It deserves praise and gratitude and nothing but that. His commitment to this community is unrivaled. Thank you so much, Dr. Michael. Look, the other thing I think is very important, particularly as we come through COVID, is to acknowledge our frontline workers, nurses, doctors, paramedics, cleaners in our hospital system. I think we sort of forget at the early stages of the pandemic, it was unclear what the long-term effects of COVID would be on the central nervous system and on the lungs. And the people of New South Wales asked our nurses and doctors and frontline workers to go to work anyway, and they did. And they did. They had our back. They had our back. And certainly in relation to the South Coast, now it's time to repay the favour and have our frontline doctors, nurses, frontline workers, paramedics, we need to have their back too and make sure that they've got the services that this growing community needs and deserves. And that means oncology, it means mental health services, it means an intensive care unit, it means a level 4 hospital for the year of Adela. That's what you deserve, that's what you're demanding, and that's what you need to get. Thank you so much.
Everybody, and I too would like to acknowledge the traditional owners on the lands we gather and pay my respects to elders past to present. Can I also say, as the person who has aspires to be the next health minister of this state, that I'll make a commitment today that I will work with our Indigenous brothers and sisters to try and bridge that gap that exists in health outcomes between our First Nations people and the rest of the general population, something that I think we need to all focus on. Look, thank you very much for coming out today. Can I just say to Malin and to Fitzroy, thank you so much for this fantastic campaign, but a big thanks to Michael Holland.
Yes.
Dr. Holland has not only been a fantastic medical professional, but for Chris, me and Fiona, he's been a terrific community advocate, and can I say that he has driven this campaign to make sure that the halls of Macquarie Street and the halls of Canberra know exactly what the community expect, and that is a level 4 when the door opens. Can I also acknowledge my federal colleague Fiona Phillips and her tireless advocacy, but most importantly today I want to, like Chris did, acknowledge our frontline health workers, our nurses, our midwives, our cleaners, our doctors, our health workers, all of those people who went into an environment over the last 2 years, an environment that all of the rest of us were being asked to stay away from. They went in to protect us. So on behalf of a very, very grateful community, can I thank every single one of you today, not only for your support of this fantastic campaign, but for what you've done over the last 2 years to keep our community safe. And finally, to the community members who are here today, well done for coming out. I come from a regional community and I love regional New South Wales. There's an inquiry going around regional New South Wales that I established into regional rural health services that's been going now for about 18 months. And the stories are incredible. What they say is we've got to do better. When it comes to health services in regional and rural New South Wales, we all must do better. And this campaign is certainly a part of making sure health services in this part of the world, this great part of the world, are going to get better. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Who wants a level 4 hospital? And when do we want it? I want to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land and thank Bunga for his beautiful welcome to country. He's absolutely right. We need more Indigenous representation on that southern New South Wales Health District, and yeah, couldn't agree more with that. Look, I want to thank everyone for coming out today in the rain. You are all amazing. It is wonderful to see people of all ages. We've got young people, we've got elderly people, families, we've even got dogs, which is amazing, and this just shows how important a level 4 hospital is on opening. I really want to thank you, Fitzroy and Malena. I'm getting to that, yes. You have been amazing. Dr. Michael Holland, wow. I mean, you couldn't find a better advocate for the hospital services in this community. I can tell you, they ring me at all hours of the day and night. Doesn't matter what day of the week it is. They contact me. I've said it before. They're like a dog with a bone on this, and that's what you've got to be. You've got to be to get what the community deserves. We have one of the most elderly populations in Australia, the second highest number of age pensioners. Everyone here deserves those services. We've got an aged care system that needs more support, and for that we need our nurses, our midwives, our GPs, our cleaners, our security people that work in our hospitals. The government, and I'm going to say it, the state government, like a fish, rots at the head. And that is what's happening now. I have had so many people come to me about stories of the dismantling of current hospitals, the running down of staff, not filling
not going to get a level 4 hospital in the new hospital. But meanwhile, they are ripping the services away from this community, and it is not good enough. And I have stood up before, and I will stand with you every step of the way. This community deserves a level 4 hospital, and every young person here, this impacts you. This impacts, in generations' time, your children as well. Absolutely pivotal to get this right, and I commend every single person here today for standing up for those services. I also just want to acknowledge, obviously, my state colleagues here today. I have been knocking on their doors, and look, full credit to them, they have been listening. I said, you've got to get down here. This is an emergency. It is a crisis. What is happening here. I also want to thank my federal counterpart, Christy McBain in Eden Monero. Couldn't be here today, but she sends her absolute support to have the services here. We want a level 4 hospital on opening. When do we want it?
Really a local hero, our community healthcare advocate in chief, no other than Dr. Michael Holland. Thanks everyone. I've learned that you never let a politician have the last word. So this is my, in one way, maiden speech, and one way valedictory speech, I suppose. Our campaign has developed as a matter of safety, as a matter of equity, and as a matter of confidence and trust. Our community shares common problems with those of other rural communities in New South Wales. We're told that we'll get money for this new hospital. We didn't assemble today to ask for more money. It's not about the money. It's about the services, it's about the current services and the future services. Any government will match that money for the new hospital, but a responsible government would have got it right the first time and not dispense benefits in an upcoming election. They wouldn't have got it $110 million wrong in the first place.
Yes.
It happened in 2018, it happened in 2019, and it's happening again now. A responsible government will fund the $90 million a year that it will take to provide the services. It will provide the nursing and midwifery ratios for patient care. It will provide adequate specialist doctors, and it won't let health service workers lose their jobs. You can't trust a government when maternity, neonatal and paediatric beds are cut to an unsustainable level for our community to fit an inadequate budget. When senior staff members have resigned over the provision of services. When the combined Eurobodalla Medical Staff Council has refused to endorse the planning until there is adequate emergency maternity, neonatal and paediatric beds for our community. You can't have confidence in a clinical services plan which has a 10-year loophole to provide level 4 services by 2031. We have been told that level 4 services are in the plan. The New South Wales Government was never planning to open the door with level 4 services. Read the clinical services plan and the functional design brief. Nothing in it commits the New South Wales Government to opening the door with level 4 services. The clinical services plan has devolved to give us only 3 theatres. It's removed the central sterilising unit with the loss of jobs for health service workers.
Disgraceful.
It's more than half the number of maternity beds and proposed paediatric beds, and it has a shell space for an MRI.
Shame.
Intensive care services may not be provided until 2031, and in the meantime, you may read in the functional design brief that virtual critical care could be provided by an external service provider. Remote controlled intensive care. communities have united in accepting the site of the new hospital. Our community's united in the sentiment that it's not the site, it's the services. We want a level 4 service on opening. Good thing I'm not playing the piano here. Health policy must be based on need. The need of the Eurobodalla is evident. The social determinants of health in our community are evident. The data of clinical demand is evident. The New South Wales Government cannot deny the need and the data. It must not ration rural healthcare. Our community needs radiation oncology services that were promised by both parties. We need improved mental health services. We need palliative care services. We need a bricks and mortar tertiary education facility for nursing, medical and allied health, not another permanent demountable. We need the development of carers accommodation that I've lobbied for years. We need primary health services from Bateman's Bay to Eden. And we need the recruitment of doctors, nurses, midwives, allied health and health services workers now. Bateman's Bay and Moruya hospitals are falling down. The only good thing about them is what's inside them. That is the nurses, midwives, allied health professionals, health service employees and doctors who work in them. Every day I experience the demands that are placed on these workers, and every day I witness their dedicated work for our patients. These workers need to be supported to perform their duties safely and effectively until the new hospital opens with level 4 services. The community of Bateman's Bay particularly needs to be reassured that nursing beds and bed numbers will not be reduced until the new hospital opens. The Bateman's Bay Hospital cannot be downgraded to level 1 during the transition to a new hospital. Things this week have become very personal. You've heard that I've resigned. To wear these scrubs today, I had to unpick the New South Wales Health logo. I've worked for New South Wales Health for 40 years. I've never seen the conditions and morale so bad. I presented as a witness to the New South Wales inquiry into health and hospital services in rural New South Wales. You are the witnesses to the health services in rural New South Wales. Our patients and healthcare workers are the witnesses. I made a big mistake. I called out that our newborn services were unsafe. I called out on behalf of my colleagues and the families of the South Coast. What happened? The New South Wales Government ordered an inquiry into the maternity services in Eurobodalla, and that witch hunt blamed the victims.
Shame! A disgrace! An absolute disgrace.
It did not appreciate the root cause of the lack of safety. That is, there is no specialist paediatrician for the largest rural maternity service south of Nowra. I can tell you today is my daughter's birthday. If she'd been born here, she would have died or been seriously disabled. Mr. Constance announced that the report will be made public. Go ahead and release it. He said that he will negotiate with me to reconsider my decision. He has my number. Instead, a former nurse and serial bully used parliamentary privilege to deliver a prepared assault on me, provided to her by the Liberal and National parties. That was my Julia Gillard moment. I'm not the first or last clinician who has dared to speak out about the deficiencies in rural health and become the subject of investigation. I don't care if the truth that I've spoken is twisted to become a trap for fools. Our community are not fools. We know it's not about the money, it's about the services. Since I've lived in the country, I've developed a nose for bullshit. When the wind blows from the northwest across Heffernan Farm, you can smell it. And I can smell it now. I've also been given a taste of breakfast, lunch and dinner of dirty politics. I've delivered for the families of the South Coast for the past 19 years. I've not taken credit for what nature and the hard work of the mothers and midwives achieved. However, the New South Wales Government is not delivering for the South Coast of New South Wales. We have a government that delivers hollow promises and gives us last-minute reassurances of what will be future unfulfilled services. That's bad medicine.
Blah, blah, blah.
We need to open the doors with level 4. So as the French revolutionaries would say, marche on!